Hello crafty friends, this is Julia. Thank you so much for joining me for another card making video. Today I have another Challenge a Crafty Friend card to share with you, and this time the theme was rainbow. So I created this interactive platform pop-up card, and I will leave a link to Lien's video down below. She also made a card for the theme rainbow, and I'm sure hers will be amazing. This is also my weekly project for Moni's Bastelkiste. I will leave a shop link down below, and today is the last day to save 10% in her shop. I will leave the code and the rules down below if you still need some crafty goodies. As usual, I stamped all of my images onto Transotype Perfect coloring paper, and I'm using my Copic markers to color them in. I also leave like a little banner with all the marker numbers up top, so you can easily reference any combinations you might like. And for the fox, I'm using my favorite combination, which is like a reddish brown but not orange, which is E11 or E000, E11, E13, E15, and E18. A little bit of RV11 for the cheeks. For my bear, I'm using E30 markers. I'm starting with E35. And I also stamped out the bunny. I actually did end up coloring him, but there was no room on the card, so I'm skipping the coloring for him. But I just used my favorite E50 marker combination, E55, 53, 51, and 50 to color him in. And for my bear, I started with E35, E33, E31, and E30. For some reason, I just didn't color one of the feet of the bear. I really have no clue why, but I noticed and it's an easy fix, so no harm done. I did color the clouds, the bunny, and the trees, but I actually didn't have room on the card, so I just didn't use them. For the butterflies, I'm just using the RV11 with Y11 and Y13. Just some are just the pink color, some are the yellow color, and some have both. And for the platform pop-up, I wanted the inside to look like grass, but I wanted to use pattern paper for the outside. So I just did some partial die cutting, or I just used a little bit of the platform, and then I'm just trimming along the score lines so that I have just the inside piece for the platform. And now I'm ink blending those pieces with celery stick and freshly cut grass Lawn Fawn inks. Just using a light layer of the celery stick and then adding a little bit more definition with the freshly cut grass, which is quite a bit more intense green. Just blending the colors back and forth. Not too neatly, so I have some texture there. Now I'm just folding along all of the score lines on both pieces from the platform pop-up, and this is the point where you want to add the little grass panel, the inside that I just ink blended, but I forgot. I'm just trying to finagle them in later, but you definitely want to add the little inside piece that I ink blended in green just now before you add the T-pieces in. So just a little disclaimer. I just added square tape to all of the flaps, and then I put in the first T-piece, fed it through the little opening, attached it, and then I'm folding up the little scallop piece so that it forms half the platform pop-up. Then I'm adding the middle T-piece, just lining it up as best I can, and then adding more tape over top to attach both pieces together. But first I wanted to add a little lace trim to the outside of the box with a Lacy border dies. I cut it out of Pixie dust cardstock twice and cut it to the length I would need to cover all around the box. And I added liquid glue and I just dropped it onto a little paper towel so that I wouldn't have any glue oozing out. Then I'm adding the two box pieces together, just lining them up and attaching them. Then I'm removing the liner paper for the middle of the box, making sure they're lined up nicely. And now just remove the liner for the final flap, and we have a platform pop-up. For my rainbow, I used the stitched rainbow die from Lawn Fawn, and I just cut it out of the shimmer cardstock in the pastel colorway. I used all of the colors in the pack, I believe. Just adding all of the colors. I added tape runner to the backer so that I could easily build the rainbow. And this is when I realized, oh, I forgot to add the inside. So I just cut a little slit and wiggled them in there. I wasn't really too careful with the T-pieces because I knew I would be adding the grassy border there. And if you don't know, you really can't tell because it's like a really, really thin seam. But ideally, you do want to do it before you attach the T-pieces. But in a pinch, this works as well. Just fiddled it in there. Was a lot more fiddly than it had to be, but I really like the effect that it gives. If you add the greenery now, you just have the pattern on the outside and the inside is just like a little scene, and I like that a lot better. Then I'm just adding some score tape to the bottom of the rainbow that I added to grassy panel. And this rainbow die, I plan to add it to the back of the box, but it only fit in the middle. So I just added a grass border there and nothing else to the back because it would be covered by the rainbow anyway. If you wanted, you could do a double-sided rainbow and then you could have like two scenes, but I didn't for this one. Then I just cut some clouds from the rainbow die set out of Pixie dust cardstock so that it would match the lace trim around, and I just attached them to the rainbow. And now I'm just adding the fox with a little, what is it called, the little catcher thing. Adding a little butterfly inside and also the bear. Like I mentioned before, I didn't have room for the bunny or the trees or anything, but I really like how this cute little scene turned out. Then I stamped the sentiment, "Have a happy day." And I wanted to have the happy as like a bigger saying, so I used the big Scripty words die, and I just stamped it in raspberry ink. Then I'm just using the coordinating die to cut it out. I let the ink dry a little bit before so that it wouldn't smudge. And now I'm just attaching it with liquid glue to the front of the box. I'm just adding it at a little bit of an angle. And then I'm making sure to fold along the score lines so that the sentiment bends and everything's attached. And then I just added the have a happy, and then the day to create the full sentiment. And that finishes off my card for today. I had so much fun making this, and I just love platform pop-up cards. They're one of my favorite interactive cards to make ever. They're just so cute to have like on your desk, and I had the best time making this. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I will leave a link to Lien's video down below. I'm sure it's amazing. As always, Moni's Bastelkiste is linked down below as well. And I hope I'll see you again next time for another card making video. Until then, have an amazing day. Bye!